Alright, so what are we doing here? We are getting all loaded up over here and trying to get my pretzel rocks to turn on. Doesn't look like pretzel rocks wants to start anytime soon. But we are going to hang out. How's it going, Deaden? We are not working too hard today. Alchemist, how's it doing? How you doing? Um, I've been in meetings a whole lot and working on stuff, but I got pretty much everything I needed to done for right now. So now um, I'm going to work on just some stuff that I want to kind of outline for the ProLUG. We got a meeting. We got a new course coming up, right? And we're not going to do hammer block in the environment this time, although the servers will be called hammer servers for now. But I've got just a 10-week course layout here, and I'm going to start putting more and more of the stuff in there. Yeah, meetings are no fun, especially when you're what we call an individual contributor, right? So individual contributors are this idea that we do the work, so we don't want to be spending all that time. If we're doing the work, we don't want to be spending all the time in meetings, right? So that's, yeah. Anytime you're stuck doing a lot of meetings, that's no fun. But I've been doing too many lately. I've been doing all right, but let's hang out right here, and then yeah. So if people have questions about Linux or want to talk about what the professional Linux users group does, I can help with that, right? Because I'm one of the guys that kind of runs a lot of that stuff. If you guys want to know how to get, I got more stuff to tell you about getting involved. There's actually some really good stuff coming up. Let me pull all that up. We'll get that going. But what kind of music do we want today? Let's do. I kind of like their spooky music. Let's see if we can get something spooky to go. That's not too bad. All right. So let's pull up the Discord, talk about that real quick. Some of the stuff that's going on. We're right in the middle. There's a Monster Scale Summit by ScyllaDB that's up right now, so that's kind of going. And you guys can. That's day 2. Well, it's day 1 is pretty much done, so you can get in on day 2. Those are free. Those are remote. I've been keeping track of them for the last few years, and it's always been free. So that's a pretty cool little thing. Let's go look at. Looks like it mentioned that I'm streaming. Good. Let's go look at the events that are coming up. So there's always events coming up, and we do have a project in about 2 hours. So if you guys don't know what the Slingshot project is it's a new project that's going on down there with, they're going to work on doing, where are we at here? Yeah. So minimum viable product. What's the minimum that they'll accept for what they can call like a working product? And then discuss the short-term goals of the project, probably get involved with the initial commits and understand how to do that, what the Git workflow is going to look like, what a pull request should look like, and what the minimum testing and all that kind of stuff is, because the guy who's running that Salty Catfish that's what he does professionally. He runs things where he has teams of software engineers bringing work to him, different individual contributors bringing things in, and then he's merging things and getting it all working. He's been a tech lead the whole time I've known him, kind of like a software engineer team lead. Probably he's been doing that the whole time I've known him, so at least the last 5 years or so, and I think he's been doing that about 10 years. So he's been a software guy a while, and he just does a good job running everything. That's coming up in about, there's 7 people saying they're coming to that. That's coming up in about 2 hours. So if anybody wants to go do that, you just hop in down here. All these events are free. I think it's just going to be down here under projects. I think that's where he set that. Let's see. Does it say where it is? Is it down in the tomato? Oh, it's just in the software development channel. So just expect to hop down in there if you're interested. And then Saturday's coming up. We got the writer's room for people that want to work on the book. The book is our free book right here that kind of just shows people about Linux administration, right? It was a 16-week course that we wrote and ran, and anybody that wants to come and do that, that's free as well. That's actually coming up again in on the 22nd, so in a couple weeks we're starting that up again. I guess you got less than 2 weeks. If anybody wants to come to that, that's free too. We got 58 people say they're coming, so we'll see how that goes. We also have a significantly more challenging course called the Linux Security Engineering course, which is what I'm going to be working on today, and writing out some of my thoughts on it and getting my notes together for it. So there we go. All right. So there's that. Any of this stuff is there for you guys to play with. Do you guys want the link to the book? Because the book is still under construction, but it's free. So you guys can just hop down in there if you get... Hey, Linux developer, how's it going? We're not working too hard. We're just kind of, doing a little bit of Linux. We got the scary music on in the background, or spooky music. Let's see how the spooky music goes. Also, I've got the grandbaby in town, so if you hear, a little kid running around up here, he may pop in or out every now and then because he does kind of whatever he does. Hand of Malice said, "Do I have any AWS practice tests, or is it all Linux-based stuff?" I don't have any. So it depends what you're looking for with AWS practice tests. If you're talking, do I have some questions that I've generated over the years when we were doing like the AWS Solutions Architect Associate and like Solutions Architect Pro study? Yeah, I have stuff like that. That's all up in the Discord. If you go to like the Discord and then you go to... I'm pretty sure everything like that is in the, maybe even in the presentation section up near the top, up near the beginning. Yeah, here's my Certified Cloud Practitioner stuff. And I don't know, Certified Solutions Architect stuff is in here. So yeah, I have stuff in here that could be useful for somebody getting that. It depends what test you're looking for, Hand of Malice. One of our guys, Fisherman Guy Bro, he wrote a really good one on AI. So there's an AI practitioner cert, and he went and passed it. I think he's up to like 8 or 9 of the certs right now. So you're starting at the beginning, yeah. So you would definitely want the Certified Cloud Practitioner, but the AI one is also an entry level one, and I'm pretty sure we have it right here in our thing. I want to say it was like Moop Moop or somebody. Somebody said, is it this one? Hold on. So here's an AI study guide that one of our guys wrote. This is the entry level AI practitioner. So if you were going to get ready for it, this would help you out. And I remember Fisherman did this live on stream while he was getting ready for the cert, and he took really good notes. I think this is a pretty good study guide. And it's free, right? It's just PDF. You can download it. It's your risky click of the day. So yeah, and Chris, you're definitely free to, over on the YouTube side, you're definitely free to take the admin course, right? We're going to run it. The way our course runs, I run it a lot like a college class. And you say, what does that mean? I've never been to college. And I say, don't worry, I've been to a lot of college, and I've been teaching for 16 years. So the way we run this course is starting on the beginning of each Saturday for that course, I will push out the new Discord links for... we'll do like discussion threads, and you have to get in there and do your discussion posts. Then you also have to work through your worksheets, which will talk about the topics for the worksheet, and there's also recordings for all that, right? So you guys are welcome to go do that. Again, all that stuff's free. The guys have the first 3 weeks, so this is kind of what like Unit 1 looks like. It tells you what you're kind of studying and learning about. Here's your learning objectives, and I like that the guys added some to this because this is important. Again, this course, the Linux sysadmin course, is less about mastering Linux. We kind of assume that you've done some Linux, and it's more about how does it interact with the business. So then here in the worksheet is we start to talk about the course. You need to know what Vim is. You need to know some Linux foundations and maybe some cheat sheets that give you some links to go look at. Here's our recording from when I recorded it over on YouTube, and I talked through this guide that I kind of have on like all the basics of command line stuff, right? Then we came down here, and then this was, you had to rate yourself on how well you knew a topic and how well you wanted to work through that topic. So like if you say, hey, my Linux is low, but I want to learn Linux, well, that's cool. And then maybe your database is low, but you don't care to learn database, well, that's awesome. Linux developer said, will there be an iCal file to add to our account? I think there's a way to pull that out of, I'm pretty sure you can pull that out of here if you want. I'm not sure exactly where you do that. Yeah, I think you can just download like this Linux developer, the ICS file, and then throw it on your or Google Calendar or Yahoo or Outlook. As long as you have those things linked, you should be able to get it to your calendar, I think. So, yeah, if you guys want it to remind you. But here's the thing: I'm still gonna run the course live, right? The course is gonna be live on Saturdays. That's 3 p.m. my time, which is 3 hours off of you guys on the East Coast. So East Coasters, that's 6 p.m. on Saturday. So basically, you're hanging out for your dinner or whatever with me. But also, I don't take attendance, guys. If you don't make it to the course, what matters is that you do the work, right? Like if you're gonna do the course, do the work. That's the important thing there, if that kind of makes sense. So, or 10 p.m. GMT. Fair enough, fair enough. But if you miss the course, right? Let's say you guys just can't make it to the course. That's fine. Just watch the stuff and work through it, right? Watch the stuff, get involved. This is stuff for you guys, right? I'm just gonna take this and put this on the back of my Excalibur that I'm working on here. Oh, by the way, there's Ranger and the grandbaby's in town, so you see the toys out everywhere. He's off to the left of this camera. Looks like the wife built a little table here. She's got these little tables for like her card games with the ladies. And then looks like, man, Ranger has been laying there all day. And I actually checked him earlier to make sure he was breathing. I was a little worried about him. And then the wife did the same thing because she's like, he didn't even get up when I came in. And I'm like, I think Ranger's like going full deaf because I snuck up on him the other day on accident. I walked up behind him because we have over here to the left. There's like you can walk all the way around inside the house, like all the way around the kitchen. And he went to go. Somebody like hit the door, like knocked on the door. So he heard that, and he went to look and saw me over there. And then I came back around, and he just stood there. And I came into the kitchen. I'm like, Ranger, are you okay, buddy? And he like didn't turn around. I was like, Ranger. And then he finally like kind of moseyed around and was like, oh, you're back behind me. Oh, and he walks over and give him some pets because he's Ranger. But he's all in all a pretty good dog, but he's just kind of lazy. All right, let's. So I need to think about this here. So one of the things I'm gonna do here, I think, is let me zoom in here. I'm gonna make a little thing, and I'm gonna say maybe here. I'm gonna say topics, like within build standards and compliance. I'm gonna talk about some topics that are kind of like important for this, and it's types of controls. So what types of controls are there, right? You might not be super familiar with this if you don't do security. But let me pull up my Sumatra PDF, and let me get that out of the way. Okay. In security concepts, there's these different types of controls, right? There's preventative, deterrent, detective, corrective, compensating, and directive. And the categories of controls over here are technical, managerial, operational, and physical. Well, as a manager, I'm used to these being pushed together into administrative controls. So this is kind of new to me that these have been split out. But we'll just say that these are administrative controls in my mind, right? That's the way that Scott thinks of these two. Well, the reason I bring these two up like that is this. Well, I zoom in on them a little bit. I think of these as this, and it's like a technical control, a technical type control is going to stop you from doing something, right? Whereas like a physical control will also stop you from doing something if you're physically there, like a fence or a wall or what we call a man trap or any of these things. Those are going to stop you. A physical control that like stops SSH from allowing root to connect, that is a technical control. Now there's, in this case, managerial and operational, but let's just call these again. I think of these as the older way, which was the what was I calling administrative controls earlier. So I think of them as that, and that is the I told you and I wagged my finger at you really hard and I told you not to do it. Like there's like a acceptable use policy, an AUP on a system, and that acceptable use policy says when you're using this system, you can't be out on the internet doing ratchet shit, right? Ratchet stuff. Okay, fair. So you can't be doing that, right? But what if somebody came along and one, they didn't even know our policy, and two, even if I did say, hey, don't do that, they're like, I'll do whatever I want, and then they do it because they have the only threat to stop them or the only thing to stop them is the threat and the idea that they're going to follow the rules. If you can't trust somebody to follow the managerial or operational rules, then you need a technical control in place to stop it. What might be an example of that would be if you have a Linux box, right? Where's my Linux box here? If I have a Linux box, right, and I don't want my users, so Hammer 2 here is when I connect to it, a couple of interesting things just happened there. I'm going to go connect. That's kind of interesting. Let's go connect to Hammer 5. That's interesting too. Okay, let's just connect over to the server, and we obviously used a key. Did you guys see me put a password in there? No. So I used some type of key. And if I were to back out, I could determine what that key was, right? I could say a bunch of V's on here, and I could say, okay, I connected to it, and I passed out. Look at all these different all these different things are happening, and then I eventually got connected via this authorized key over on that box. And what key did I serve? Let's see what key I passed over there. It looks like there's some stuff in there for security. Let's see which key I actually passed. Should be up here. Should tell me which key that I was going to use from this system over to there to connect. And looks like no, those things are there. I think I must have tried to harden this in some way. Where's this key at? Hold on, I jumped down to the bottom. I'm looking for my key. I know which key it is. I'm just surprised I can't find it in here. All right. How's that key up? Anyways, normally it walks through a bunch of keys. Yeah, I could grep it, but normally I'm just not on the. Yeah. The grep might not work right because of the. That's fine. We'll go like this and then just say uptime, and we'll grep for cluster. Right? Yeah, because those are all. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't really matter, but the point is, if I wanted to stop somebody from using keys, I can stop that as a technical control by going to this machine, Hammer 5, let's say. I can CD over to etc SSH directory, and I can VI the SSH underscore SSHD underscore config, right? And in here, I can look for maybe keys. Good God. If I could type. And here's the types of keys that we're going to allow by default. Are we going to allow public key authentication, or do we turn that off? Right? Are we going to allow public key authentication, or are we going to turn that off? And this would be so where the reason I'm bringing this up, and the reason why I'm talking about these types of controls like this, is when I do the course, we're going to talk about these types of controls, the categories of controls, and the type, and then say something is a technical control, and it is preventative, is going to stop something from happening, right? It is a technical control, but it is detective, right? Like it's a syslog server being properly configured on a box or whatever, and that would be a technical detective control, because it's not actually doing anything. It's just going to help you later to detect what's going on inside of the system, right? Or what happened in the system. If it can't stop anything, it's not a preventative control, right? It's just a detective control. And this is one of the ones they always try to get you with. This is the type of question that they might ask. They might say, what is a security camera sitting in the parking lot of your work? Like, security camera sitting out there. It's obviously a physical control, right? Because it's physically there and it's doing something, right? But is it actually preventative? Does it stop anybody from doing anything? The answer to that's no. Is it a deterrent? Well, shit, if you see it up on the light pole, maybe, right? Maybe, sure. Does it correct anything? Does it compensate anything? Is it a directive? No. It's really just a detective control at the end of the day, right? And that gets people because people think that like a security camera is a preventative measure, and it's like, well, not according to our definitions in cybersecurity, right? It's only a preventative control if it actually like stands in front of you and says, "No, sir, you cannot go in." You ever seen those guards that kind of stand around and people come up and like mess with the horses and they're like, "Remove your hands from the horse," and they yell at the people and the people run away? That is a preventative and then maybe like a type of deterrent. In fact, security guards are physical and they actually adhere to almost all of these, right? So security guards are preventative. They can physically stop people if you give them those permissions. They're a deterrent because you watch a security guard walk around and you have two options at that point. You can try to do Mission Impossible or you can just leave. They're detective because if they see glass or if they see somebody garrote one of their buddies, they're going to do something about it. They're going to try to figure out what's happening. And they are technically corrective because if they find an unlocked door, they're going to lock doors. I have a good buddy that works out at a power plant here in Phoenix. That's like there's a big nuclear power plant out here just outside of Phoenix. And he works with them. And if he finds a door open or propped open so somebody can smoke, he goes and he corrects it by yelling at them and closing the door, right? He also carries both a pistol and a rifle at all times when he's on his job, right? Like those guys are trained very well, right? But the point is, he's a security guard that's not just doing any one of these. All right, anyways, so we'll be over here, and I'm talking about those types of controls, and so we'll review STIGs and think about what type of control they are, right? And I probably should find some STIGs. So let me pull up. Hey, Robodom, how's it going? Let me get rid of these because I don't need them up right now. And let me just say that I was going to do like a MariaDB STIG, right? Like we were going to do the security technical implementation guidelines for maybe like MariaDB. We'll go look at some of these, right? And we'll come down here and we'll generate a checklist from the marked STIGs. So we'll have ourselves a new little checklist and we'll maybe save the checklist as... We won't save it just yet. But then I start coming down here and I start working through whatever I'm doing for this STIG control, right? So let's go find one. Let's find some here because we're going to be doing MariaDB. View STIGs and what types of control they are. And we're gonna go find some, right? And we're gonna write up right here so that I have them for the course. This is me doing my prep work. I know people we were talking about on Saturday, and they're like, "Scott, you're always going," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not always going. I'm just kind of hanging out with people on Twitch and YouTube, and then just kind of that's how I find the time to do this stuff, right? Getting in here and working on stuff. So, yeah, Robodom, how was the Robodom? Are you gonna do a write up for us for Scale? Let us know how Scale was. Let us know what you went to. What interesting, cool technologies you heard about. You can do a little write-up for us. Most of you guys know if you're going to any of our conferences, right? And Robodom's been going there for a while. But if you go to any of our conferences and you do a write-up for me, right? So like even guys that have been going to Monster Scale, which is today and tomorrow. If you go do that and then you do a write-up in here, it just tells us something. I have it right here. I have it right up here a little bit. If you tell me, where's it at? I think it's pinned to the channel. Nope, it's not pinned. I'll pin this. Oops. Pin it good. And this is my usual offer. If you attend one of these summits, any of them, it doesn't have to be this one. It has to just be a tech summit or something similar, and write up a summary for ProLUG about the following. So you write it up down here. Yeah, it didn't. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but there's a lot of virtual conferences. You could go. I mean, this one right here is going virtual right now. But anyways, here's my thing for you guys. If you tell us what did you guys do, what did you talk about, what did you find that was beneficial, maybe you tell us about some new technology. What did you learn while you were there? Where can we watch any recordings? Like if you know that there's going to be recordings on YouTube, just link it to us. Would you attend it again? Why or why not? If you just give us those pieces of information, I will get you a humble bundle of your choice. You go find a humble bundle that's interesting to you, like technology based, right? So same deal with you, Robodom. Yeah, same thing with you, Robodom. Just write up what you guys did, find what was interesting to you. I know you're going to go to scale again, but just do like a little write up for the guys, and then we'll work something out for you. Do some kind of just pick a humble bundle or something and send it over. Loki's great for observability. I'm a big fan of Loki. We use Loki in the lab, right? All right, so anyways, let's go look at our MariaDB stigs, and we're just going to leave them in order over here. And if you guys have never filled out a DISA stig viewer, this is so these are all free. Free, and you can download them. DISA stig viewer is on version 2.18 now, or 2.18, however you want to say that. I hate saying that like that, though. I've always disliked that. And the way that they work it is they tell you over here what the problem is, something about the problem, how to check it, and then to see if there's a solution for it, right? And we're gonna go do a little bit over here in our box here that we were working on, and we're going to db dash server, I think that's right. Yep, let's install that. Let's see what happens here. I also probably need to do, hold on a second. Oh, I got sneezed pretty bad. That's no good. Yeah, types of controls, and then we're going to compare them. We will probably start with review of review of common compliance standards. Now, these are ones that I find the most, but for sure Stig, some CIS, and some PCI DSS, and then I'll probably link as I do that over to excuse me, over to the new or to the place where you would go get them, right, for each of these. Man, as soon as I start sitting here talking, I'm like Cophosaurus Rex. That's funny how that said that. I said a Cophosaurus Rex. It doesn't know what to say. That's fine. My closed captioning is funny. All right. Denton, yeah. By the way, congratulations if you got a new job. That's awesome. Officially starting 6 weeks. Nice. Got to get a clearance. That's always good. Yep. I've had a few clearances in my time, and they definitely take time. I just sent off fingerprints yesterday for a contract that I'm working again for the next 3 years or so with government. It's funny. It's the lowest level of cybersecurity clearance that there is with the government. It's like a general trust or public trust or something. It's like basically we trust you with like knowing what the weather is. That's about all it is. Yeah, with NOAA. Yeah, Robodom. Yeah, but I sent that off to him. NOAA. That's funny. Or I sent that off to them. Yeah, Camby, we're not working too hard right now. You're not really too late on the YouTube side. We're just working on system stuff, and I'm planning out kind of. I've got this just set of things that I started kind of putting together for. These are going to be kind of my own notes with some drawings in there. It's mainly, in fact, what I'm doing this for is drawings. I'm not planning on doing this. This is not planned to be a lot of text. This is supposed to be mostly kind of my drawings of the systems as I claim no great art either skills or philosophy, but I would like to be able to kind of show at the beginning of each of the units kind of like what we're doing and my thoughts on it or whatever. So, yeah. We're not working too hard though, Can be. We're just kind of hanging out. I may jump over and work on some of the other things as I go, but I'm just kind of just writing stuff up as we go. We do have the MariaDB Stigs up, and I'm gonna find them, and we're gonna talk about the types of controls they are, right? Yeah. So this one right here, this first one. So we're gonna grab the Vuln ID, and actually we'll go and grab the Stig ID of this one. Whoops. Ah, damn it. There we go. And we'll go grab this Vuln ID of this, right? And actually, maybe I'll just do it by the Vuln ID. Yeah, we'll do it by the Vuln ID. That'll be the first thing you'll see there anyways. So 253666, right? And then for each of these, we're going to say what is the problem, what and what type of control is implemented. What is the problem and fix, and what type of control is yeah, I like that. Drag this out a little bit. And the answer, right, as you look at this, I'm not going to write the answer in here, obviously, because that's going to be the things that we talk about in the course for that week, right? By the way, the systems security course that I'm doing is coming up on the 22nd. I got through all these other things, and I didn't tell you guys when the security engineering course starts. That starts on the 22nd as well. So we're going to do the Linux sysadmin course. I'll take a little break. You guys can hang out in there. And then I'm going to do the Linux security engineering course as well. And I've been asked if we're going to record this one. Obviously, we already recorded this first one, and it's on YouTube and everything. But the second one, this one, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to record it just yet, because I would like the people that are really seriously interested in coming to this to come to this, and then we'll talk about, you know, if we clean it up and make it into a full course, and depending on how many people actually start it and finish it and that kind of stuff. Because I feel like over time we've had, you know, we always have a lot of people that want to come to things, but then not a lot of people finish them. And it's like, I guess the question would be, would it be more important to show up, you know, the first 3 parts of the class, or kind of lag and at least finish it? I'd rather at least finish it, because, like, you know, it's not great to start a bunch of things. You got to be able to finish stuff. So that's my thoughts on it. What do I know? All right. A lot of stuff going on. You guys can hang out down in Discord. Yeah, oh, by the way, guys, that event's coming up in just about an hour and a half for people that want to go and talk with Salty Catfish. Is going to be running this Slingshot project. He's going to be doing the initial commit. And it sounds like an interesting project. If you didn't read what he said about it, he's got it all down here at the bottom of everything in this little Slingshot. He's talked about what it is and what the messages are. Let's see what the pinned messages are. Yeah, it talks about what he's building and what they're going to try to do. All right. So I think that'll be good for people who want to do that type of work. That's not everybody wants to do software engineering type work, but for those of you that do, man, I can't think of much. I mean, Salty is from what I've worked with him and seen, he is very demanding of things, which is good. That's the kind of person you want to learn from. You don't want to learn from somebody that's just going to let you do whatever. He's going to show you the way it's done in the industry. But, you know, I think that's valuable, right? Like, for people that aren't doing this. All right, let's keep looking for more controls. The The reason I'm going to pick these controls is based on what they're actually doing. Um, I want some, and then so we're going to keep going, looking through here. Grants, fixed text. I don't want any of these ones. Some of these ones up here, I'm just going to go down a little bit. All right, this will be a good one. So this would be a good one for the reason of this. Hold on, let's come back up here. Boom. Super annoying that that fucking thing won't go away. All right, back out a little bit. Super annoying. But, I mean, that's what we get with a free tool, right? And the question is the same as before. What is the problem fix? And what type of control are we implementing? So this is an interesting one because this is a totally different type of control. It says if procedures do not exist, this is a finding. Questions on the YouTube. Mr. TA said, will you record the security engineering course? I haven't decided that yet. It depends how much I prep for it. We may record it. If I do so, it'll be on the Sunday after. So we'll do the normal Saturday course and then we'll do it after. Nick Hill asked, can we follow both courses at the same time? You can. I think that it's going to be doable, but the first course, the Linux sysadmin course, is about maybe 6 to 10 hours a week of work. So could you follow both of them? Probably. Could you do all the work in both of them? I doubt most people are going to be able to keep up with that. I mean, unless you're like out of work. People that are working, I would still tell you to come to both if you wanted. I'm just telling you, I don't think most people are going to work through everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's all logging. All right. Good. Let's keep going here. So, this is going to be one of my favorites right here. This one is going to be important. Over here. And it's the same general idea as this other one. What is the problem? And which fix type is implemented. All right. Good. And then I'm going to have, as part of the course for this week, it's going to be Stig, Maria, DB as far as you can, and build a checklist of your result, right? Where can you get a MariaDB system? How far can you get it Stig to? That will be one of your tasks for that week, right? So, I think that's good on those for now. All right. So, we're hardening this. I don't need that. I don't need that space right now. All right. Yeah, salty's pretty good, Robodom. I agree. I think there's also a lot of like the idea of like what you're doing with security. Like everybody in security is doing something, right? They're all running around doing something, but is anybody actually doing anything effective? And that's a big part of this course is not just going to be to like mindlessly go and do these stigs. I want people to pick their head up and look at what they're doing as far as the controls, and is it really that important? Is that one that I did right here, the syslogging, more important than the one up here, which has to do with the actual changing of a technical control, right? Like, which one of those do you think you'd weigh a little more priority towards if you were down to maybe your last few hours on the project? And these are the kind of things that I want people to kind of examine. And it's one of these things we talk about, like looking our problems in the face or whatever. It's like I want people to look at it and go, "Oh, that makes sense. That is a problem. Like why wouldn't I do that differently or whatever?" So so that'll be that. Yeah, what's an effective use? What's the thing that's best? What's the next best thing to work on? Yeah, if you kind of want to think of it like that, yeah. Some people would call that triage. We actually did triage in the Linux sysadmin course. I want to say in like week 2 or 3, we triaged incidents. Like we looked at, hey, what are we going to actually fix, and then we studied a little bit about how we might make those decisions. Because again, you are going to one day get faced with more than one project and more than one thing with only so much time in the day, and something's going to have to give. And I would posit that I would rather be the person who, that's POSIT. Anyways, I would posit that I would rather it break where I choose for it to break than just break in some other way, right? Or I would choose to work on the one that I think I could finish, as opposed to just splitting the time and not finishing either, right? These are the kind of things that you got to think about. Especially if you're working on a project where there's obviously there's real money involved, but between companies or something, and you have a certain contractual obligation and you can't go over it, there's things like that start to matter, right? So anyways, I want people to think about it now when they're on their own time. All right, let's go. I thought about this, and I was thinking about building. Let's go look at something just for fun here real quick. We're going to go to Killer Coda. This is a site that we use a lot. I'm going to go hop in their playground real quick. And in their playground, we're going to go hop into Kubernetes with multi-node, right? So Kubernetes with multi-node. 1 node, 4 gig? No, we're fine. Alright, make that a little bigger. This is just a little sandbox mode. Let's see if it's called MariaDB server over here. It looks like it is. So that's good. If we were going to... let's give this a second here. We might start with this. The correct port is right, and that can be as simple as systemctl status. Might just be MariaDB. Okay, we got it running. Should be port 3306. Yep. So that's systemctl status MariaDB, and then ss-ntulp grep for 3306. That's the default port. And then if that's all up, right, can we connect to the database? Right, so we're in, and then we can start to gather information about the system internally here from our STIGs, right? So we could walk over to our STIGs, and we can go over here and look for a port, right? And then now we would see maybe 30, right? We add that, and then now here's the one thing about the port that we may need to change. We can say show global variables like port inside of the database, right? Boom. And now we see the port set at 3306 inside the database, so we might grab that and go come over here to our little new checklist and say, here's our actual finding details. We found that that was like that on the server. And then we came down here and it says, so if you wanted to specify some other port, you could, but we don't want to specify another port, so we're going to say port is set correctly. Pass, right? And then we can right click on this and say that this is not a finding, and it's going to slowly add more and more to our STIG score, which started at 0 and is now 0.9 because we've got the port set the way that we expect to, right? So we can, guys, this is almost like too simple in that you're just literally going through the check text and then the fixed text, and down here your finding details are just the facts. What did I see when I arrived at the scene? You know, I heard a woman scream, and then I heard a vase break, and then I heard, you know, a car squeal away. Those would be 3 facts, and hopefully in the right order. And this is all we write in our finding details is what we found about the server, right? That's the wrong break. Anyways, I sometimes look down on my, and my closed captioning makes it sound like I don't know how, like what's going on. So, all right, I can come down here and I can remove all filters, and then we're back to all of them. And I can come in here and I can start to clean up other things, right? So I can see, is there an audit type set for my server, right? And there's none set, so I can go set one to be for syslog or whatever, and then I can start to move stuff around and change the way that my server behaves, right? But while this is a good skill, I think that these kind of things can be done, well, maybe by a trained monkey, but you know, I think you do need to know some things to do some of this, right? Paste that in. Here's the data dir. Var lib MySQL. Now on Red Hat style boxes, it's /MariaDB, right? But in here, the data dir is var lib MySQL. So if I were to exit out of here, cd to var lib MySQL, there's a bunch of stuff that's in here that needs to be, these permissions need to be set. Some of these are dealing with the permissions. They're dealing with the ownership. Make sure that the ownership is of the right user. And you say, well, what's the ownership? Well, the ownership is based on the process. So if I do a systemctl status MariaDB again, is the person who kicked this off the process ID right here, 3066, is that MariaDB? The user, is it the MySQL user or is it the root user? Well, there's 2 ways to find that. One is to do the systemctl with a cat and see how it was supposed to start. And right here, it was supposed to start with the user and group MySQL. The other one is to do a psef and grep for either that PID, and that PID should tell you it was started by MySQL, or I'd be willing to bet there's not that many MySQL on here, so you could probably find it that way too, right? Grep for MySQL, and then you'd get it. Oh, and then you could grep like this too if you really wanted to. That'll find only, oops. Why did that find both? That's interesting. Huh. I'm very surprised. Grep. I thought that would have stripped off the... whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, guys. It's what we call not germane to the point, right? It doesn't really affect the overarching idea or point here. So, again, we can come in here and we can figure out a bunch of stuff about this. Throughout our changes, we need to be checking that our database will still start. We should check that our app that's connected to the database can still talk to it if we have an app. If we don't have an app, we need to have some client that can connect in. In this case, we're just using the local client, right? And that's still fine. It's showing that the database is up. And we may say show databases, right? I'm not capitalizing shit. I don't care. There's my databases that are there right there, right? Yeah, but I don't normally need a -E for the extended. But yeah, I mean, the E might have worked there, but it's surprising to me that didn't work like that. Normally it does. So I don't know, maybe grep change. I don't tend to change grep changes, right? All right, anyways. And then we could just keep writing down the stuff that we were verifying or validating or whatever. But this is what I'm going to have people come and check. Oh, let me go check that one. That one might have been a good one. The one that we already fixed. So now we'll just go here and we'll switch them in order so that we have the not a finding at the top. And this one could be 253734. We might take him as well. Again, I hate it. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, screw it. Yeah, I want that one too because that's an easy one for people to check real quick. But then again, what type is the problem in the fix? They want to make sure that use of non-secure ports, protocols, and services expose the system to avoidable threats. So make sure that the port's in use by running the following command. Make sure it's using the port it's supposed to. I think that that's kind of I think should go without saying. But oh, and actually that's an interesting one too. Let's go check that real quick because that's actually an interesting point. I didn't even think about that. This thing is out here. Let's look for bind from Etsy my.cnf. Oh. Right. And we don't see bind. Let's just cat it out. Let's just see what's in there. 3306. Yeah, and there's the bind address, 127.0.0.1. So the reason we care about the bind address is when we look back here at the actual, right here, ss-ntulp, where's he at? Here. This system, by default, is only, so the MariaDB server that's running on the system on PID 30668 is only listening to 3306 if it comes from the local host. So if you were to ask me, hey Scott, is this system secure in that you're not exposing that any further than it needs to go, I would say, well, it's definitely secure because there's definitely no communication with this server outside of this connection. This server can only talk, it can only listen, it's only bound to listen on 127.0.0.1 3306. You compare that to something like this. Right? SSH is bound to anybody coming in on port 22, so any other server out there. But this is only me, right? As an IPv4 standard of that's home. 127.0.0.1 is always defined as home. So you're not, yeah, you're not allowing any other connection. Well, and if we really wanted to, we should be able to. Node 01's there, which it should be. I should be able to NC back to control plane on port 3306. Yeah, didn't work. But if I'm over here, it says it connected, but from there the connection was refused. Unless you guys say it's a firewall. What's that? Simple to set up firewall. What the heck's that thing's name? Uncomplicated firewall. UFW status. right? Yeah, there it is. Inactive. So the firewall's not even on this box. So the only way we can communicate with it would be through a server-side request forgery vulnerability and another service, right? So can be well. So that is an interesting question because so then what I can say on the system side down here where I'm building this, the only thing that can communicate to this is on the server. So if this server had an application and that application had communication channels down, 127.0.0.1, 33.0.6, yes. Then yes, if you compromise that server in some way or that service in some way with whatever types of different methods there are to compromise services, which there's a lot, then yes, at that point you could compromise the database because I have no control. I mean, it's basically like I open the door to the north, and if somebody lets you in through the north, it's going to work, right? From my side of things. Now, there's ways that we can continue to lock down databases outside of this, but this is the very simple, the most basic security on a database right here, what I'm doing, right? Most people do not do stigging of their MariaDB or MySQL databases. My company does this. We do this professionally for other companies right here. So I'm showing you guys stuff that I do professionally. Robdom, it's funny. It might have been, but I've never watched Game of Thrones. Well, no, I take that back. I had HBO in the early 2010s or 2011s or whenever that was, and I've seen part of the first season. But then when they did what they did at the end of the first season, I was like, that guy was the only reason I was watching this. And I'm not going to tell you guys anything because I'll ruin it and somebody will say that I've ruined a show that's 10, 15 years old now. The first season of that show was like 15 years ago, guys. It's a long time ago. Yeah. People need to chill out. I got yelled at once years after Breaking Bad was out for what I said about there was a news article about they were coming out with a new show, and I said, "Oh, what's his name isn't dead." And whoever that character was. And somebody was mad at me. And I'm like, first off, the show's been out 3 years. Second off, this is a news release from the guys who made the show. So I feel like they're also saying you should know who did or didn't die at the end of the last show, right? And they were saying, oh, this one guy that's in the show didn't die. Therefore, we're going to keep making shows about him. And I'm like, that's the worst, by the way. That's the fucking worst. When you do Deus Ex Machina, right? The God in the Machine, and you just say, well, I didn't say Deus Ex. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I just got kicked off of Twitch. No. I liked Breaking Bad. I just didn't think they needed to. Oh, gosh. Don't stop saying it. Okay, it's okay. Because it finally scrolled off. All right. Yeah, Breaking Bad was good, I thought. Now you've got my attention. Not this word. Which is God in the Machine, and it's where it's a plot device whereby you just say, I win, he survived, oh, he lived, and you're like, but how? And they're like, a twister came, saved him, about to get his head chopped off, spun off in a twister, survived. Funny enough. You know what was like one of the worst Deus Ex? Don't you do it. Yeah, there it goes. Whoa, that's better. One of the worst ones ever is if you ever watch. You know what? I'm going to spoil more movies. I don't want to tell you guys. Go watch that movie. Actually, I wouldn't even watch it. World War Z. I mean, it's just. You're not walking away from a plane crash, buddy. You're not the only guy that's going to walk away from a plane crash. And if you did, and you had something stuck right through you, you're probably done with the movie. Like that's probably you for the next few weeks. Like. Laid up. You're probably not walking around and jumping and running from zombies for a little bit longer. Anyways, all right. But that's the that's all that. All right, that's neither here nor there, right? We're just messing around looking at stuff right now. So, yeah, we're not working super hard. So stick MariaDB as far as you can and build a checklist of your result. That's going to be the assignment. Right, is going to be them for people that are here for that course. You're going to do that, and you're going to just turn me in one of those checklists, and I'm just going to open it and see if you did it right. And I'm just going to correct them for people because I don't think we're going to have as many people for the security course, right? Like, well, I hope not. I hope we don't have nearly as many people. Maybe we will. Oh, what was that one? Like 40 something? I don't even know where it was now. All right. But I keep. Whoops. This was our operational meeting from the other day. That's what I'm using for my background, for my closed captioning. All right. I might grab just this. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Plot armor, is that what they call it, Robodom? As I've always just used it as, yeah, the deuce. That word. Except it's not that word, it's DEUS. Right. Alright, doesn't matter. Where are we at here? We gotta draw out our Bastion hosts and stuff. I actually have some drawings on Bastion hosts. Maybe I can bring some of that stuff in. I'm gonna make a new lab for that one. So there'll be a new lab. Excuse me, for that one. And this one will be, yeah, so I'm just looking through these. Oh, did I not? Hold on, I didn't fix all these. Unit 3, Unit 4. Did I not? Hold on, I wrote those wrong. I want to say that one was like 47, was it? Nope. Here it is, 36, that's it. What was 4? Oh, 5 was, I got it. 5 was this one. Let's just make sure everything's right here. Updating systems and patch life cycles. That one's... Updating systems and patch cycles, okay. Recap and final project. Gotta figure out what we're doing for the final project. It could be like the Linux sysadmin course where we just worked on building out. What did we end up building out? We ended up building out, something of like a Linux, Linux system or server build or something Linuxy, right? Now the security thing will also have to be Linuxy because obviously we're a Linux group. I'm not going to make it like be part of a network or something. I mean, network security obviously could be part of it, but what I'm saying is it's not going to be like the focus of it as network security. It's going to be something still involving the Linux system. Yeah, what recap and final project do you guys think we should do? Let's think about that. What would be acceptable for hammering everybody? I was going to make the final project of the Linux sysadmin group. People have to just manage my lab. But that might not work. That might not make everybody happy. Also, Cal, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. CAO. I guess I could just call you Manga too. Yeah, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Let's go check on Ranger real quick. How's Ranger doing? Oh, Ranger's got that's the stepson. Stepson's hanging out by Ranger Dog. Ranger's getting all the pets. Ranger's tired, so Ranger's getting all the pets. That's the stepson down there with Ranger Dog. He's had that dog since he was a teenager, so yeah, that's In fact, the reason that they originally got Ranger was because the wife had promised him when they moved in a house they would get a dog. And she had promised that to him when he was a single digit kid. And when he became a double digit kid, he did not forget it. So it's kind of a funny little thing. I mean, it's kids remember everything you tell them, so remember that. All right, what are we doing here, though? What are we? Let's see. What's going on with the wife? Thought the wife was messaging me. Okay. We got all kinds of ways of securing the network connection, so we can draw this one out a little bit. I'll make it about the same size. This one will also be similar in that. What are we going to do? It's interesting to me that that's larger. I thought the text font was always the same no matter what size you were zoomed in, and then you could change it if you needed to. But I could resize that later. It doesn't matter. Securing the network connection, we're still going to do STIGs. We're going to do all the STIGs for the sysctl configurations, and we're going to look at what the different configurations, how do they affect the kernel and network. So like, what I mean by that is this. Like, I've got this system over here in my home lab called C Router. Now, I can't get into C Router remotely. This is the only way I can get into him, but that's because of the way I have him set up. He's just a router, so we can only get to him on the console here. But if I were to do a sysctl -a, and then grep for IPv4, right? It's going to give me a lot, right? And then if I go, I look at that again. So I'm going to do IPv4 again. But I'm going to look again for redirect. So let's clear this up and let's look at just his redirect right there. Now I know that that's not super clear. I get that that's kind of small. But he's functioning as a router, so there's certain things I can't turn off here for redirects. Does he send redirects? Does he accept redirects? And does he do it on all ports or only some ports? Or is he, there's things that you have to set. And if you just go and blindly turn on, if you come here, right, and let's close down this checklist. This was the MariaDB one. And we're going to go to like rel 9. And we're going to make a checklist from this. So create a checklist from this. So here's a BS checklist. I come over here and I just filter for IPv4, right? And then maybe now we come down here and we just start looking at the configs, right? There are things that I may need. So look at this. ICMP redirect messages are used by routers to inform hosts that a more direct route exists. But we're not going to allow any redirects, right? And we're also not going to allow, here's it. Source routed packets to allow the source packets to suggest forwarded routers. Yep, turn it off, right? And then, where's this one? Martian packets, which have impossible addresses. You just drop them all, right? So the point is you come in here, impossible addresses again, reverse path filtering. If we turned that off, our system would be easier to configure, but it would be less secure. Can be. A cool project would be to fix a vulnerable server. Maybe it has a cool CVE old kernel. You know what's funny? It can be is when you just stand a box up, they're only about 30% stigged. So you have all kinds of stuff you need to do just off of a normal server. But I would love in my architecture to be able to just stand, just give people the ability to just work. It's almost like I only have so many loaner cars that I can't have people driving the course and also fixing the cars in the background. Does that kind of make sense? It's like I can't, like, we have 44 virtual servers up for this, but even then it's like I tell people during our course, like, hey, don't hop in there and do this stuff now, do it over the next week, because that's the only way we have, enough capacity for everybody or whatever. So I could keep building out capacity. It's just that eventually we're going to start to meet, we're going to start hitting a capacity limit on what the wife is going to allow me to build and put on the internet. Not that she cares about the security side of things. It's just that she's eventually going to tell me, stop putting stuff in your office. It's already warm enough in there. And I'll be like, okay. And then I'll start hiding them other places of the house. Yeah, if the wife starts finding servers stuffed in other places of the house, she's probably not going to be super happy with me. But you guys would be super happy with me. Yeah. So there's, all the old kernels for sure. Yeah, and actually, we don't even necessarily have to imagine it. We could go pull up the stigs for 2.6 was rel 6, right? Because rel 7 was 3, I believe. Let me check. Hold on, let me check. I actually can check this because I have a CentOS 7 box. What? Cat. And then oh, he is 3. Yeah, so 6 was the last 2 kernel. Yeah, 2.6. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. But guys, these are the things that you can go set and accept source route, and it disables unless it's absolutely required. When IPv4 is enabling, the system is legitimately functioning as a router. So if I were to turn off this in the server, it would no longer be a router. It would no longer be allowed to route, even though my IP tables say it can. Your IP tables can do some stuff, but they can't override system parameters. sysctl parameters ride over what you set in IP tables or NF tables, right? In a Linux box. So, where was I at? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's also another thing. Like you have to understand your hierarchy of things, and the best way to understand that is to test it, right? To build it and test. So maybe I will. Maybe we will do something. I'll think about what this lab is for securing the network. I'm gonna put it in what lab? Like, what do I want them to do for the lab? What lab? Monitoring and parsing logs. Monitoring and alerting. Yeah. I think I know what I'm gonna do for this lab. But I just gotta think about what lab am I doing as I go through these. I already know what this lab is because it's gonna be doing this stuff. I'm gonna have you guys stick that up as far as you can. So. Also, one of my favorites right there. I'll get rid of that. That just had popped up on my other screen, so I left it up there. If you're not familiar, great show, pretty funny. I'm gonna drop that off. Okay, I'm gonna do put a little hourglass up and say take a break, and walk it out. Take a break. I'm gonna walk around a little bit. We do talk scale. You better include these gifts. Yeah, I will, Robodom. I absolutely will include all of those gifts. All right, I'm gonna take a walk real quick. Stretch my legs out. you guys still got 4 minutes of break. Yeah, Robdom, I'll soft commit to speaking at scale next year. I meant to go this year. I just got busy and didn't put in for the. You have to put in to request to speak or whatever. That could be fun. Oh. Drinking some water. Pretty hot in Phoenix. Well, it's only 72 today, but it's been getting up in the 80s. 72 is not too bad. How's our Discord doing? Obviously, you guys are welcome to come hang out. And we're at like 3,600 and some change people. But that slingshot project should be starting here in 34 minutes. So if anybody wants to go down there, I would say ditch me and go hang out with those guys. Those guys are actually doing something. I'm just messing around right now. Writer's Room on Saturday. Linux course is starting soon. That'll be on a Saturday. And then Linux engineering course as well. So you guys are welcome to go do that fun stuff. All right. What else am I doing here? Here's access and system integration. Oh, you know what I need to do? Excuse me. I need to... I need to get Kafka set up. I only just started that a while back. I never finished that. Some of you guys know I don't always get stuff done like I should. Let's work on that. The guy Kafka node. He's in the cluster. He's up. I believe. Yep. Alright. His lab that I'm using for him, I put him on this container lab because I think my other one I busted. I'm pretty sure I busted Kafka in such a way that it would not come up. So let's go, maybe we can set that and then reboot him and then see where he's breaking. And let's think about this. What would be the easiest way to maybe do this? Because I think what we did in that lab. So let's do this. wwctl container exec into that container. We're going to bin bash in there. Right, so now we're in the container. And we do a yum or DNF history. Let's see what we did. I don't remember what we did to this box. I think the problem when I did this was I did an update. So let's do this. Let's clean the environment up because I don't even remember what I did in there. So we're not going to mess with that. We're not going to do that. Let's go look in here and check for Kafka. We're done on that. Get that out of the way. Find in all open documents. Kafka stuff. Okay, I don't have a Kafka one. We'll go start a new one. Let's do some Kafka setup. I'm just messing around here anyways, so we're not working too hard today. That's kind of the theme of a lot of this, in case you guys don't know. Get stuff done, build, get in here, and then hopefully everything works when we're all done, right? One water ball down. It's funny, we were rebuilding it just to delete it. Let's grab his name here real quick. delete it. And then we're going to say www.ctl container list and www.ctl node list. We'll just look at Rocky and grep-i container. Yes, I had to do those separate because I wanted to see which one they're on, which is the most recent update right here. So I'm going to www.ctl container copy from that one to my new one, which is going to be called Kafka, right? So now we're going to copy the sources over, and we're going to have a fresh new Rocky Linux 9 Kafka from that Rocky 9 Labs most recent update of the container that I've built for the system. All right. And then we'll go. www.ctl container list, right? That's how you would know that one. www.ctl container list. Also, my company, we've been doing so much Rocky and Werewolf for like government projects and stuff that the company that runs Rocky and Werewolf, which is CIQ, has actually talked to us about showing like and making it their official way of doing high availability the way that we do high availability. So it's kind of funny. I might be giving some training on that. When I say giving training, I mean I'll be doing the training for people, but they'll just be paying my company and or CIQ, you know, whatever. It'll get to me eventually. I'll get some of it. But yeah, we'll be doing some of the same stuff. We train people on this stuff in the government space anyways, so pretty fun little cluster tool. I mean, there's a lot of other tools out there. XCat, XCat's a good one, but XCat kind of died, and then my company's trying to make it kind of work again a little bit. But we've been building so much Werewolf that it kind of works pretty well for us. So, all right. So Rocky Linux 9 Kafka has not changed in any functional way from the original build. So what I need to do is go find, I don't remember what we originally made this look like. So I'm going to look at what version of Rocky am I in. So we're going to do now basically one of these same commands we just did, but now, yeah, Rocky Linux 9 Kafka just like this. So now we're in a system, and we're going to look at how we would install Kafka to the system if we were going to run Kafka, right? I wonder if Kafka has a I wonder if here's the Kafka README, right? So you look at their little getting started with Apache Kafka. So we can clone down the repository, install it, start up Zookeeper. Then we can start creating topics and deleting them. So I wonder if let's give it the old college try. What do you guys think? All right. All right, we got a bunch of stuff in here. And they say to go ahead and I would just kind of want to look at this. Let's going on in here? Clone the repository, download, and install Kafka. And then Zookeeper needs to be started first. And then Kafka can be started second. Create some topics, send them over there. Okay. I'm not really worried about using any of these. I've used Python mostly for connecting to Kafka. All right, I'm not worried about any of those things, but let's see if we can yeah, that's what I expected it to kind of look like. It'll read stuff off. All right, so let's download this. They said to do it in this directory, so I guess that's where we're doing it. Oh, haha. Up one directory. That's where they originally said to do it. All right, tar-xz. I'm used to VF and then the Kafka, so it'll say. Okay, we'll just do XZF. That's fine. Standard. Huh. They say it's tar XZVF. Right here. But maybe they have it as a zip first. Nope. Maybe it's not compressed. Huh. XZVF. Not in gzip format. Gzip 1, huh? Not like a gzip 2? That's weird. That's super weird. And you could... Oh, it couldn't find it. That makes sense. I should probably read the output message. I thought it got it. So if it can't find it, then we got to go find it ourselves. So let's go look at the Kafka repository. So let's go 381. My bad, guys. I wasn't paying attention. I do that often. Yeah, so Kafka is a the way I think of it is it's a system or it's like an event bus, like it's an event. You just can throw everything at it and then pick it up. So the easiest way to look at it is like this. Serverless LAN, I think this is like the best type of example. And it's this idea of like Kafka is really good for what we call event-driven architectures, where you want people to just be able to send into like a bus that runs through your whole system. Or I always think of it kind of like a little, if you've got like subways in your area, and any sender can just send messages in, and the people that want to listen to them will listen to them. And then they will do things based on it. So then there's a bunch of patterns around Kafka. But there's also a really good Kafka... there's a really good Kafka... Where's the Wayfair one? Yeah. There's a really good case study kind of like how one company used Kafka on top of some other stuff they were doing. Where you see all that stuff up there, right? Don't worry about what it was. But come down here. They had a problem where Kafka sat as now like a bus right here in the system. You guys see that, like all this Kafka right here in the middle? And everybody was sending, all their apps were sending information into Telegraph. And what you really want is Telegraph sends to InfluxDB. That's what you want. In the perfect world, you just talk directly to InfluxDB and then pull it out in Grafana. That's like super easy to do. 10-minute setup. Like we have labs on that. but if you put Kafka in there, but if you leave the cameras rolling, if you're familiar with that one, that was a pretty funny little sketch that Matt Damon did. But if you leave the cameras rolling, he's talking about what's his name, Jack Nicholson, yeah, whichever one's the actor. All right. Anyways, my point is, here's Kafka. Everything's sending into there. Kafka's always ready to write and gather the information, and then this one pulls it out and sends it to InfluxDB. So you had this layer of persistence in your network. And as a systems person, I first learned of Kafka from all of my systems sending to Kafka and then Elasticsearch pulling it out. So we had log monitoring of our whole environment with just this little Kafka thing running, and it was pretty cool the first time I saw it. And anyway, so these are the things that people kind of use it for. All right. Anyways, we should have that. All right. Unzip Kafka. Oh, they even changed that. So let's get Kafka in here. And then now they say to go to Kafka. And in here, we can start doing some of these things that they're telling us to. So we could start Zookeeper. Is Zookeeper in here? All right, that's all there. So we're going to start Zookeeper, and we will immediately background him so he doesn't take over our terminal. Okay, class path is empty. You got to build stuff, apparently. All right, so well, fun. We're going to probably build this and then find we don't have the other thing. So let's see. Java could be found in your path. Please set Java home for environment to match. So I'm pretty sure we don't have Java on here, but I didn't see. I think they would have had what all the other requirements are. I may have to go get Java. But I don't normally run Java on Linux boxes, but that's okay. We can get that on there. And anyway, so we'll build this out, right? This will be our home lab Kafka, and I'm gonna have some events going around in there for you guys to look at in the security course too. So we'll talk about the ways that we can talk to things like that. There'll probably be some certificate talking and have a certificate that can talk to it or not be able to talk to certain things, and you can see how you can lock that down. That'll be part of this other section. I don't know where it is. Right here, I think I'm calling it certificate and key madness. So what lab? Talk to Kafka. All right, talk to Kafka. Right, so talk to Kafka, read from Kafka. That'll be possibly one of the labs in there. CDN Dave, how's it going? Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. We are just kind of hanging out, and I'm not really working too hard today. Just kind of hanging out with people that want to be here. People that are interested in doing systems work, and I'm building out parts of the lab for some of the home stuff that we're doing. And trying to document it a little better than I had been, kind of get the course outlined a little better, and yeah, just get people better at doing some of this stuff. So yeah, it's kind of productive. I got the grandbaby in town, but I think they left for a little bit. I think they were going to have dinner at Rubio's. They were saying Marco Rubio's. I don't know what the name of this place around here is. Rubio's Dining or something. I don't know. I don't think I've ever even eaten over there. I think it's a fish place, but I don't know. Some place around here. Bastions in this lab will for sure be update. For sure, this will be update the killer Coda lab. Build the Bastion lab and killer Coda. Because you can do that in 1 hour on there, so. Yeah, Robodom, I think they do fish. I think I went in there one time and they were like, they had like a $12 quesadilla or something, and I was like, that's I don't. This was before there was bad inflation the last 20 years or the last 4 years, right? Like the last just explosion of inflation that's been going on. So that was back before that. I imagine that thing's like a $27 quesadilla now, so I can't get around that. Let's see, updating systems and patching. The topic for this is not going to be, I think, what people think. We might build. Oh. Do we need a pulp lab? We might do some pulp labs for that one. Yeah. What is there? Yeah, those things are all accurate. I just want, oops, not that. I want their quick start. Only get one. Yeah. We can do all that. That's fine. Ah, there it is. Java 8 installed. So. Yeah, Shweddy. Yeah, you don't have to go deep in Kafka. I actually have a lab on Kafka. Man, I haven't looked at that lab in years. But I have a lab on Kafka in the Killer Coda environment. It's in the Kubernetes section. I teach you guys how to stand up Kafka in Kubernetes for people that want that. Last time I checked, it was still working. Let's just go here for Java. Let's just look for Java. What's there? Oh, so much Java. But let's see what is the actual Java that we probably need. We probably just need this one. Because we probably just need the runtime. And really, you only need to put this typically. ABK11. Is there any reason to not just go to 11? I don't do anything with Java. Most of the time, I'm just cursing at my developers that want to use it. I remember this being a massive install when we did this a while back. 165 packages, sure. Wants to update everything. Let's just see if we can, from their general README here, get this going. But I just would think that you'd have the prereq as, you know, Java 8 or whatever. We did Java 11. We're going to background these as we run them, so they'll be out of our way. And then we'll start these, and then we'll see. We'll see what's going on. See if Zookeeper and Kafka are running, make sure that we can talk. This Java goes to... That's actually funny, Hayes, because that's where my company Redline gets its name. This Java goes to 11. Well, isn't that just the same thing as... No, you see how the other ones only go to 10. This one goes to 11. And, like, you know, you're sitting there remembering fractions from, like, I don't know, second or third grade, whenever you first start playing with them, right? But fun fact, this isn't a real server, so once we've done this, we actually can't do this install part on this box until we can't do this part until we get the system up. So let's bring the system up, and so that's all done. Boom. We'll our Etsy Pass WD and group have been modified. So that's actually a thing that we need to think about, because we are going to need to sync user. This Java goes to 11. What was that? Was that Spinal Tap? Somebody help me out here. I think that was Spinal Tap. Oh, well. There you go, find. I think sync user is a wwctl configure command. But we'll go do that. Yeah, this is spot. Yeah, it was a documentary on them, right? And it was kind of from like the maybe late. Anyways, that's where my company got its name from. Is Redline goes to 11. In fact, line perf. I think it's redlineperf.com. Yeah, yeah, because Redline goes to 11. That's the name there. Oh, I just got a. What the hell is that? I don't get Slack messages very often. All right, Slack message. Get out of here. Hopefully that answered why people use that. Here, I'll link this to anybody that wants it, because you know that's the first thing I remember reading that I was using. So I had used Kafka before I read this for logs and stuff, but this was the first time I saw it just for telemetry data, which I thought was an interesting use. All right, let's leave that and let's go over here. All right, we got to apply. So let's do real quick wctl node list -a grep-i container, and where's Kafka? Right there. And he's got that guy still. So we're going to do history grep-i for container. And typically when we set the container, we can do it like this. Right? So we're going to do wctl node list for Kafka. And the werewolf is going to be Rocky Linux 9 Kafka. Oh, I could also do this a different way. Instead of searching for any of these, I could just look for Kafka here, and then it would give me everything, and then I would say, okay, there it is. And then I want to say wwctl overlay build for Kafka. And I have one other thing I need real quick. I need to wwctl configure -- help, and just see, is this where um, sync user. Okay, so wwctl container sync user. So hopefully that does what we want. Not synced. Right. Yeah. So we can container build this. So I'll rebuild the container. And then I'm going to check out here and see if on this box, if it... Oh, I don't actually know the behavior on that. Yeah, Robdom, I appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, you guys, go hop in that group for sure. Guys, I would tell you right now, drop the stream and go just hang out in Discord. It's way better. Go hang out with the guys that are doing real work right now. I'm just kind of messing with the werewolf stuff. Yeah, Salty's down, so if you guys don't know, he's getting ready down here. People are going to be hanging out in, I think they're going to be in software development, but they've got a meeting set up starting a 3-minute slingshot project that they're going to be building. It's an open source project. It's they're a pretty helpful and useful group. Hayes, it was your tooth, if I recall. That sounds terrible. If it was your tooth, that does sound really terrible. But let's see what's going on out here. Huh, okay. My stuff's done building. I'm going to rebuild just for fun overlay. And then I'm going to SSH to Kafka. And I'm going to give him the old reboot. Now, we can ping him for him to come back up, but we can also watch him over here at the console. We like watching boxes at the console because they will give us, we will see them boot. We will see if there's any problems with them. If we didn't have good visibility, we would at least try to ping. But we should be able to watch the system boot. We should see it come up inside of Kubernetes. It'll post, it'll do its iPXE, which will require DHCP. It'll pull down the new configured image and its kernel, and then it'll build from there. So we'll see that all happen right here. Or we'll see it break. All right, there's Kafka. He's on Rocky Linux 9 Kafka. Over here on the left, we see him. Actually, we don't have to watch the ping. We could tail dash F on varlog werewolf, and we can watch him pull down his information. Other servers are also pulling stuff down. We could just grep for him, but that's fine for now. That is going to bug me. We'll just watch Kafka stuff. So we see that he just did some stuff. Now he's pulling down his image. And he should be able to hopefully start. And then if he starts, then we can watch him doing whatever. Like watching boxes at console to say, yeah. I like watching servers boot because it gives me a feel for what's good and bad and what's working and what's not. Yeah, Hayes, I didn't realize I had when I was 28, I had my wisdom teeth removed, which is funny because they weren't bugging me in any way, but they were like level 5, which I guess is like the highest level of like some severe and impacted, and they weren't bugging me in any way. I had them all out, and it ended up, oh, we had a problem. Unable to load something. Something did not work there. All right. Is that initramfs? the same. I didn't change anything. Yeah, I don't see anything changed there. From anything else that was there. Let's see. 514. Let's go check one of these other boxes real quick. Oh. Oh, 41894. 541894. 427. Oh, damn it. Alright. Oh, that's a real kick in the... I think this thing... God damn it. Just look at the history real quick. There were all these packages altered. That updated the kernel. So annoying. Alright, we gotta... So, that's one of the problems is if I don't want to have to rebuild the drag cut image, I have to keep the kernel the same version, and I forgot about that. So, updating the kernel definitely screwed us here. So this image for... I mean... I'm not going to try to recover it. I'm just going to blow it away and start over. But the problem is that I didn't lock the kernel. I didn't exclude the kernel in the yum updates or DNF updates. So that's my own box. That's my own problem. That's what I get for distracted working, hanging out with you guys. I mean, this is home lab stuff, so I really don't care. But this is kind of this is what we do around here. We kind of mess around. All right. Well, I'll probably just leave this like I did last time, busted. We'll get that going. I need to get that up before we get to that unit of the security stuff. Because I would like people to be able to pass messages. I'd like to be able to pass messages on the system. Also, I'll probably harden it for fun. Just show you guys how, like, there may not be any hardening best practices yet for that. So we might be writing them. You know, that might be a fun thing to kind of mess around with and look at. So, yeah, Linux Patch Tuesday for sure. It is Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, I got a college class in a little while I got to run. So, all right, we'll hop out of here. I don't have enough people to go raid anybody, so I'll just stop the stream here. But I appreciate everybody coming by. We will, yeah, we keep working on this stuff. People can hang out down in Discord. I'll probably go hang out there with Salty and the other guys. So, yep, I'll see most of you guys later. Take care.